What's going on, guys? It's your boy Sal in the building with another new router, and I'm hoping this is going to act up, or not act up rather, and we'll be able to just to talk about stocks into the close, see what you guys are looking at in terms of the markets. I haven't changed anything on my board since my last SPY video, so I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about the S&P 500 index. Right now, oh man, I knew I should have put that trade up. Right now, the markets are pulling back here into a power hour. All right, I know this is a surprise live event. Let's start seeing some people come into the chat room here before we really get started here. All right. Yes, indeed. What's going on, Howard Cooper? Just waiting for some more people to get back or get in the chat room. I know this is a surprise, me popping up in here, but I got a really good connection today, and I really want to test out this new router. So y'all come on in here and let's talk some stocks, man. Let me know what you guys are looking at. The market's about to fail that 275.40 level that I predicted the market would need to get above to keep the rally going. On my last video, where is the market going? What's going on, Patrice? Bats, what's going on? I got the phone set up too, man. We're gonna keep it brief because I know we're gonna probably have quite a few callers. Shout out to Bats. Yeah, I just spent a grip on this damn router. It better work today. Okay, it better work. Yes, indeed. All right. Mark S. Brown, what's going on, man? INO. Yeah, I saw you mention that in the last video. Good call on the last play. You know, we did see that first day, exuberance die off. Same here in bio. I'll just call it bio, BIOL. And if I'm correct, this is another kind of Corona type play, right? There's so many of them. I got a video coming out later today about that. I mean, they're these CYDN, the one I presented yesterday. There are quite a few small caps, bio caps out there that are trying to make a run at it. What's going on, Adam? Yeah, man. Well, I had got a stop and desist from that little preacher guy in Atlanta. He said I was using his name and confusing with his little millionaire. I was like, man, I don't have the time. And I had been thinking about switching it over anyway. So why not? I feel like just the fact that so many people have been at home lately and stuff, I've just been thinking, I think this real stoppage has been an opportunity for a lot of people to think about some things. As for BIOL, I think if you drop below 50 cents, man, you might be in some trouble there. So you're going to have some people to come in here behind you and keep that up. The thing about the OTC, actually this is a NASDAQ. If they keep the news coming and keep people excited, that's the one big difference about, okay, now I got the window open. Everybody want to come do something. CYDY. That was the ticker. The good thing about OTC is that that's when these run, everybody knows that news is going to come out to support the run. Right? They know what to do with putting out news every 2 days, 3 days, sometimes every day. Where you don't see that on the NASDAQ. There's a little bit more discipline. With that. Just got out of MBRX. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a multi-day situation, right? I mean, obviously, if you're trading just for day to day, then I can understand. But I try to stay, at least 2 weeks. Minimum is 2 weeks. I'm always in most of my positions a lot longer than that because I typically like to sell premium. So I'll be in them for a month, 45 days, 60 days. Anything that gives me the high probability. So added more JNUG to your 401k. I think that's the smart way, man. That is the smart way. You know, when I posted about gold, heavy back in March of 20, I see it's so beat up you can't even zoom. You can't even get the daily chart. Back in June of 2019, gold was at $1,300. We're $400 higher from June of 2019. Right, from June of 2019. Now, if you just don't want to go long, you can, for example, the option guys, you can just sell GLD puts, right? GLD weekly puts. You can look it up. It's been a winner last 3 weeks in a row. I got on a week late, but it's been a winner for some consistent, income coming in. So it's a lot of things going on right now. TLT is getting a break today because of all that money that got thrown out there today. $2.3 trillion that they're going to be printing. $2.3 trillion. So, TLT, kind of a sideways day today. We should see that pick up. We should see that. I mean, that's a lot of money to throw at anything. Another 2.3 trillion. And this is in addition to the 6 or 7 trillion that's already been put out there. All right. Between the federal government and the Federal Reserve. Nobody really knows how much is spent. I mean, I'm going to bet that the Federal Reserve balance sheet will be well above $10 trillion by the end of the year. And if that's going to be the case, if we don't see $2,000 gold, I will be shocked. If we don't see $2,000 gold by December. And that's why I think gold is probably the most promising commodity of the decade. I mentioned this going into 2020. I told you that gold, or commodities in general, but preferably gold and silver, will outperform stocks this 2020. And so far, that's been the case. JNUG calls. The problem with JNUG calls, with JNUG options in general, is the volume is just, the spreads are ridiculous. Now, I think that's going to pick up. as it starts moving higher. You're going to start seeing more liquidity because that's how it works typically. But right now, I mean, the spreads are pretty ugly. So I'm in the situation in terms of a stock. But a guy asked me today on Twitter, what would I do? And I told him that I would be in a put spread where I'd probably sell 5 against the 3. So I would sell the $5 calls for, I think it was like May or something like that, for May 19th. And then I would buy the $3 calls against it and take in some good credit that way. And that really protects you. I mean, that protects you all the way down to actually below 5, I think. Holding SLV calls, that's a good play, Mats. That's a really good play. The best ROI, Bats brings it up. The best ROI is silver right now. If we want to compare, if you had $1,000, I get, a lot of emails like, well, say I only got 500, I only got 1,000. The problem is that a lot of those guys don't want to be patient with their investment. They want the money right now, even though they don't have any money. I think when you don't have any money, you should be the most patient to allow the trade to develop. But hey, SLV is a great play here. SLV is a great play here. I put up a video a couple months back called the March to 20. I still believe SLV will get to 20. There's a lot of manipulation going on here, but what happens, like with all manipulation, you eventually, the demand just overwhelms any supply that is being placed into the market to, control the price. Eventually, the demand just gets too strong. It gets too strong. SLV is a great play, great ETF to play silver. In fact, I wouldn't use any other ETF. I know there are other gold and silver ETFs that you can use, but I wouldn't use anything else. All right. I've been hearing about some of these commodity plays where it's like if you take a share, you can actually get a physical, physical piece of silver representing the share in the ETF. Very interesting concept. MBRX took a shit today. Yeah, well, I mean, that's typically what's going to happen after a big day, huge run up. I mean, you're going to have a day off. You're not going to buy into the top. I mean, that's a Ranger. That's kind of common sense. That's actually, when you really want to get into the play if you're excited, because we know the first day are people who are chasing it, people who are playing on the news. That's not when you want to be a buyer because you don't get a solid entry. All right. But again, if you're going to be in the trade for longer than a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, who cares about what happens in, a day of price action? You don't care. I remember I was shorting Grubhub when I was telling everybody, short Grubhub, short Grubhub. The day I bought it, right, the stock went against me like $4. I didn't care because I knew I was going to be in it for God knows how long. I knew they were spending $10 in advertising for every $1 profit they were making. Now go pull up Grubhub. Made over 25 G's in that. What's the best to invest in tomorrow? Man, I couldn't tell you that. You think I would be live on YouTube if I knew that every day? What'd be the best thing to invest in for tomorrow? But look, based on what I'm seeing in price activity today, look, I mean, the market can't even go below the 10 moving average on the hourly, man. This thing has been a beast. I mean, they're throwing everything at it. And again, I haven't removed anything off my chart from my last video where the market is headed. And I mean, it just completely busted through that 275 level that I thought we would start having some resistance, and we are starting to see some resistance above 275. But it hasn't came back below it. I mean, we're $2 over that 275 level. All right. And we really are climbing what they call the wall of worry, right? Where, you have a magnitude of really bad news out there, 16 million people on unemployment, another supposedly, 10 possible million at the end of next month. And yet we're going higher. We're 26% off the lows. And how is this going to look? How is the market going to look like 30 days from now? And let's be honest, a lot of this money that the federal government is putting out there to these small businesses will not be paid back. That's why they offered no guarantees. All right. You can take the money at no guarantee because they know most of these small businesses will fail. The demand coming out of this environment is not going to just snap back to what it was before. Many of these small businesses will fail. They're already failing. We also saw today a few that I've been watching are the REITs. Preferably a lot of these ones that took those, I want to say, are they called like conduit loans or something like that? Also called CMBS loans. All right. These basically no doc, low doc loans for people who have a lot of money, for funds. And these are really, I mean, these should be banned because every time there's a recession, every time there's a trouble in the market, these are the loans that, go left first because a lot of them are high interest. They basically only work when the economy is doing very well. And the people who are taking these loans put very little capital up front. I think it's less than, anywhere between 15 to 20%. And we're talking about loans that are minimum 25 million on some of these properties. So minimum 25 million, it goes up to unlimited, right? But minimum they're even going to talk to you is 25 million. These are some of the, your C to A plus commercial properties. And let's take a look at some of those plays right now. And I got a list that I wanted to talk to people about. And let me see, NYMT, up New York Mortgage was one of those. And all of these have crashed hard. All of these are crashed hard. And what they're looking to do is to get a bailout. They're looking to get a bailout. I wish this company was public, but it isn't. Quicken Loans. Quicken Loans is running out of money. Quicken Loans, a company out of Detroit, that's basically one of Detroit's largest employers. So I get a lot of word from them that they're running out of cash. But Quicken Loans is a private company. Another one, CLNC. CLNC, Colony Credit Real Estate. These are all companies that have huge portfolios of office properties. Many of these companies are some of your zombie companies. Some of them are just startups, right, that aren't paying on their loans. And these are plays you should check out, because if they get a bailout, if they get a piece of that $2.3 trillion, or if they just get another bailout package like the airlines got, you're going to make 100% on your money here. MITT is another one, AG Mortgage and Investment Trust. All right. Again, these are all your major holders of those CMBS loans. All right. STWD is another one. That one's a little bit more expensive. This company had a $30 billion market cap not too long ago. Just 2 months ago. It was flying. Everything was all good. Starwood Property and Trust. Everything was all good. Now it's not. MFA is another one. MFA Financial. This one going for $1.89, $1.90 right now. Look, there's some people who've already doubled their money. This thing went down to 32 cents back there on March 25th? 24th. It was at 22 cents. Now it's at $1.90. So missed opportunity there. But now I'm looking at it myself as that, among others, as companies that unfortunately, are going to get a bailout. I'm against bailouts, but I'm not against making money. All right. I'm 100% against bailouts. I think most, if not all, companies should be allowed to go bankrupt. All right. But we're moving ever so closer to a communist system where government is basically going to go own all the major corporations. What's going on, Javier, man? What do I think about puts in Tesla? It's been a losing game. We're talking about over the last 12 to 24 months. It's been a losing game. But Tesla's a dangerous stock to short, man. Tesla is people have lost billions of dollars trying to short Tesla. That run higher was a short squeeze. For the most part, it was a short squeeze. And obviously, when those guys are out, you get what you got. Plus, this corona situation didn't make it any better. I put out a video talking about shorting Tesla at 660. It went up another $400 after that video. And that was during the run, because I was saying it myself, like, man, it looks freaking ridiculous. It went up another $400, almost hit 1,000, right? I think it hit like 960, 970. Would have been a great short there. But, Tesla's got too much of a fanboy energy, man. These people have unlimited pockets or something, playing with daddy's money or what. But every time you think you got it, it just snaps right back. It just snaps right back. So that's why, this, among so many other things, had me develop a simple moving average strategy. So if Tesla gets beneath that 10 moving average right here, which is at 513, that's a high probability trade for possible, downside move. It'll never, a good moving average will never lead you wrong. A good moving average, you'll get faked out. here and there, especially if you're on a shorter time frame, like hourly. I don't like going below that. But if you're on a good time frame, like a daily or a weekly, a nice close moving average will keep you in a trade that's going well and will tell you when to get out of a trade or to short a stock that is going the wrong way. Trust me, people who've watched me long enough, I went through all the indicators: CCI, STI, right? TSI, True Strength Index, momentum. I started using certain ETFs. I've done it all, trying to find the hidden grail. And you come to the conclusion that just keep it simple, stupid. RSI, maybe MACD, maybe a little VWAP. Don't get too much. Don't put too much on there, and then a decent moving average. United Airlines. I saw somebody. Oh yeah, speaking of Under Armour. Speaking of Under Armour, I accidentally brought up Under Armour, but Under Armour was one I was looking at too not too long ago. But boy, man, they have been crushed. Under Armour coming out of the lows there too. That was a single digit stock not too long ago. IVR. Invesco. Oh, thank you for bringing it up. Thank you, IVR. Desert Edge. IVR is another one. There's another company too that I think could lose their ass. They're not into that same thing, but ACC, Campus Community Properties, or American Campus Communities. This is a really interesting one because it's lost a lot, but something tells me that some of these universities aren't going to make it, man. And this might be a little bit down the road, but those campus or housing properties, those are not cheap. Right? And I think coming out of this situation, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to say, man, I don't know if I want to, pay $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for a worthless degree. They should already be saying that, but American Campus Properties is one of those companies I'm watching. I'm watching it. But again, it's another one trying to make a recovery onto the lows. Thank you, Ryan Gets It. I appreciate it, bro. Just trying to put out good information, man. We're on this journey. You bought 2 IVR, sold at 5. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's how you got to trade those. Those are very, very short-term trades because we don't know what's going to happen. These could easily go broke. On my website, tradingthemarkets.com, which used to be Advanced Equity Research, I put out a video in December talking about the oil companies that could go broke. I think I listed like 20 companies that could go broke. And almost all of them now have lost well over 70% of their value. But some of these companies have, really good balance sheets, and meaning they've got a lot of cash on hand, but now they're beneath book value. One of them is Marathon Oil, MRO. I don't know. I think MRO could be an acquisition target, right? You want to stay with the best of the best. I know there are quite a few junk plays out there. The CRC, in fact, that's a little junk play that I ain't even gonna lie. I got a couple hundred in just to see what I can do with that. CRC. All right. It's a very, very, very small driller. I'll be happy if it just gets to 250. If it gets to 250, I'll be more than happy, and I'll keep it moving. With the Saudis taking a stake in America's oil and gas industry, that was a really good boom today. So if you guys have got any other oil and gas plays, let me know. Yeah, CRC. OAS was on that list of companies that could go broke. OAS was on that list. Yeah, I've been watching OAS for a long time. This is another one that had basically no shorts available on the slide lower. I put that one out in December because I saw it dip right beneath again that 10 moving average. Great shorting opportunity. No shorts available. Trust me, I called Interactive Brokers for a week straight trying to get something out there. Nothing. You know, there are a lot. I'm really happy to see some of you guys still trading, because there are a lot of people who, they were just all about up, going long, leveraging huge positions, and they got killed, man. And they're not trading no more. They're not trading no more. I ain't gonna name no names, because if I say something, I know it'll get back to them real quick. But they'd be in the chat rooms. Hey, go long, go long, go long. Now, they ain't got no money to go along with, because it came down so fast. And on the way down, they were playing the dip, right? They were just like, okay, it'll bounce back tomorrow. It'll bounce, and it didn't bounce back tomorrow. And when it did bounce back, most people had no cash to play, on the other side of the trade. They didn't have any money. Hammer held its premium for most of the day. That's a good trade, Austell. Good trade for that. Playing the momentum move. Intraday on MRO. Yeah, I lost 1,000 a few days ago. Yeah, I mean, traders have been losing money. I've lost money on some of these trades too. Getting away from my system. It's not perfect over here. It's hard to be disciplined. It's hard to stay disciplined, When you get something that works for the most part, and it tends to kind of make you cocky sometimes. American Airlines. American Airlines at 12 right now. Again, the government is doing whatever they can to save these companies. And this is another good stock that you should, again, be in. I mean, if they've already committed to basically buying, and as I mentioned not too long ago, most countries have nationalized airlines for this reason. There are no other countries that are bailing out their airlines right now, because in other countries, the government owns the airline, because they are, for the most part, unprofitable businesses. That's why you'll have, I don't know if they, Singapore Airlines, or is it Saudi Arabia or Kuwaiti Airline? I mean, these countries have stakes in their airlines to protect them from things like this. So here in America, airline service is a private, it's a private business. And that's why now, we've got hundreds of thousands of jobs at risk, when honestly we shouldn't have this many airlines. Travel for the most part, it's unprofitable. These airlines weren't making that much money to begin with like that. What's going on, Legendary Eights? Yeah, I've been live for a minute now. Let's look at NOG. So I'm hoping, what I was hoping for was that we come out of this situation with maybe a nationalized airline, which I'm totally not against. I'm not, Ayn Rand kind of mentality where I just think, government should stay out of everything. I think that, a nationalized airline system would work. I think it would totally work. I think you would start to see, service in certain communities that, you got to take a jet to go here and another small one to go here. I think that would be great. I think prices would come down significantly. You then see government start to implement, monies in development of more higher speed modes of technology, of transportation rather. NOG. Damn, that market cap has been shredded. See, my thing about some of these oil and gas stocks, man, I don't like, especially when we're talking about from low RSI to going back to something with a high probability of doubling my money. I'd like to see them be that they were short-term casualties, right? That before this coronavirus situation, they were at least managing at a certain level, and NOG was doing that, right? It wasn't like a straight down thing, right? It wasn't a straight down thing. Obviously, this was just $2, $1.50. If we were talking about, a $6 oil and gas stock for the last 9 months, and now it's at 83 cents, I mean, that's a slamming deal. That's a slamming deal. Then you're saying, okay, what are the chances of this $9 stock now is trading at 83 cents going to $1.50? You got a pretty high probability of that happening. But we're talking about a stock that was at, before the collapse, 225, 213 or whatever that is. And now we're at 84 cents. I mean, do you get what I'm trying to say? Look at the move today. I mean, it's giving back all of its gains. All right. It's not enough there. It's not enough meat there. What's going on, Killy Kills? Man, CHK. I'm surprised CHK is even trading as horrible as their balance sheet looks. Yeah, look at CHK at 17 cents. They are, dude, their debt is just astronomical. That's why nobody wants to touch them. They've got to go into bankruptcy, and that's exactly what they're going to go. They're going to go into bankruptcy, and they'll figure it out, in the bankruptcy courts. But it's done. It's going to be CHKQ in a minute. It's going to be CHKQ in a minute. CHK has been done for months. For months. That's another one that it was almost impossible to get shorts on. MNLO. Menlo Therapeutics. Don't know anything about it. Yeah. He said the Taliban taking a stake in CCL. What? Are you serious? The Taliban? Like, I'm thinking Taliban? CCL. Yeah, Carnival Cruise Lines, that's another one, man. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, those are one of those set it and forget it's. For those, that's what women who ask me, because I know women are very disciplined at their trading. They'll stay in the stock for, years. I tell them, just buy some Carnival Cruise Lines and just keep it in your damn account, and you'll be good. You'll be good. The cruise line business is a very expensive business to get in, to start. The competition isn't going to be coming into that field anytime soon. And, again, you stick with the best, and that's Carnival and Royal Caribbean. I think you'll be fine. Especially at these prices. All right. But, you want the big move. You're going to be in it for a while. You can sell puts against it. In fact, this is going to be the first, as you can see here, this is the weekly time frame. Sell some puts against something like this, right? Maybe at 9 or 8 or something like that, and just kind of work it. Just kind of work it up. Somebody in here can become a pro at cruise stocks. I think you're going to be well rewarded from those levels. I mean, some of these companies are so beat up. Again, we're not talking about going all the way back to where they used to be, right? I'm not talking about Carnival going to 52 by the end of the year. But, it's at $12. Can we get 21? Can we get 22? By December or January or February? It's going to look nice for your account. I know guys who want the money faster than that. And that's fine. You can play those probabilities and live with the results. And AK been watching that. What do you think about it? NAK, this is another one that hasn't turned out the way I think people thought it was. If I'm correct, was this the one that was trying to build a field out there in Alaska, and they had a situation with the FDA where they could not get approval because the mine would interfere with a certain species of fish, okay, that was affecting the area. Now, the problem with that is the Trump administration was at the beginning working with them about it, and then they've just changed. They just changed their tune on that. So, you know, that's basically why NDK is where it is. Yeah. I looked into that situation. We were watching that situation here pretty heavy. It just didn't, he's flip flopped on that, and it is what it is. Yeah. He said they got approved. Have they started on it though? You said the Saudis are. Oh, okay. All right. So you call it the Saudi. You call the Saudis the Taliban. Hilarious. Yeah, Mark. I think there's local things in there that are playing to why it hasn't actually started. And it also could be a little bit of financing too, because some of the money is dried up that was initially all in for the deal. And the environmentalists and some of the other people who don't want it to happen have, been a cog in the wheel. But, with the way gold is going right now, things could change. And I like your, I like, you thinking about going in there now. I mean, with gold at 1,700, which, again, you always, just looking at the price of gold right now, I'm just like, why don't you just throw your whole account at gold? But, I mean, that's just not how you're supposed to trade, right? Because the minute you do that, that's when it goes to 15. But that could be something that, might be interesting. That's a gold, it's got, we'll see. We'll see. All right. So you guys bring me up some other plays you guys are looking at. I know everybody's in SPY right now. That's where everybody's at, because that's where the easy money is. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Again, I started this series tracking the markets, and all we're doing is tracking SPY, because that's just been a killer trade over the last 2 weeks. It's gone from the 240s, the low 240s to 270. I don't know of any, besides some of those smaller ones we just took a look at, of any ETF to give you those kind of returns. It's absolutely been insane. Shorting REGN. Let's take a look at that. Let me get rid of these arrows here. All right. REGN. Yeah, everybody's been in SPY and QQQ. IWM has actually outperformed SPY. Dollar for dollar from the lows. All right. That money the federal government pouring in has definitely helped out on IWM's return. REGN. Why are we shorting that for? Killy Kills. What's the story there? Hydroxychloroquine play. CXRXF. Okay, very liquid. Oh, wow. Look at that, man. That thing really took off from the 4s all the way to the 20s. A great short for somebody and long for somebody. But hydroxychloroquine play. Okay. My thing about it is that I want to play devil's advocate on this. What's the point of them trying to cure us when they could just keep us on a pill for the rest of our lives, like HIV patients? And I really think they're going to do that. They're going to make everyone who's or was affected by it and healed. Of course, I hope symptoms never return, but if symptoms do return, you're going to be the new HIV patients. You're going to be that person that has to take a pill every other day or a shot every 6 months or every two, whatever it is to keep this thing from coming back. This could be legit the new cancer where I don't want to heal motherfuckers with this. These companies are evil, man. I don't know. They can make trillions of dollars just keeping everybody on a pill or making it the new flu shot. I'm serious. They'll just make it the new flu. It'll be the COVID-19 shot. You'd have to take the shot every year to not get COVID-19. If you own the patent to it, you'll make trillions. This will be a shot it'll be all around the world. Generations of your family will be wealthy. Oh man, these people are evil, bro. These people are evil. I don't put nothing against them for, not going all out for the cure, but just going for, something that's just going to, get you just well enough to keep going. And that's why I believe that a flu-like vaccine that lasts a year, where they're going to come out with a new version every year, is going to be the future of the solution for this. COVID-19 antibody testing, no. Bats, look into what CYDY is doing. I know that they just announced something here with Novant Health. And I know you've lived in North Carolina before. Novant is the big health carrier here. Not a carrier, but a big health provider here out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. $5 billion company working with this small, not even 30 million market cap company, CYDY, right? Is it CYDY? Let me make sure. Yeah, CYDY. And they're doing what's the, I know it goes in certain levels, but it's level 2 of it. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but phase 2 study with their drug, which, in reading the documentation, it's an antiviral compound that prevented COVID-19 from affecting, certain receptors. All right. It protected the T cells. And again, I read the article word for word, but I'm not a scientist, and I know you are. So I would read what's been coming out of CYDY, and that's why I'm looking at this strongly, because unlike many other stocks that have ran on the news of COVID-19 and what they're trying to do with it, they've all pretty much dumped, right? And this one really hasn't. So that gives me some pause to say, hey, this, is just another, flash in the pan. This could be something here. But yeah, definitely take a look at it. Take a look at the news. What's going on, Ramses Cat? COVID-19, absolutely, Desert Edge. It'll go just like that. COVID-19, COVID-20, COVID-21. Oh, yeah. I mean, the incentive is there. This isn't the 1940s where you have scientists who are just like, yeah, I just want my name out there, and this guy created a cure for polio, and he's just like, yeah, it's going to be free. Everybody in the world can have my treatment free. Can you imagine if polio was striking kids today? That thing will be, $9,999. Okay. And your insurance would have to cover it, or you'd have to pay cash or whatever. That's just the world we live in, man. People not trying to heal people no more. You know, look at what they're doing with people who have to take insulin. I mean, come on, insulin, which supposedly could be made for $3, it's being sold for hundreds. You know, short an IWM, yeah. Look, this rally has gotten to a point where I'm just like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? But I'm going to, here's my Bollinger Bands, but I mean, you got to respect it, man. It's riding. And all this thing is riding. All right? It's riding. Of course, you guys know the Bollinger middle band there is that 20 moving average. All right? It's riding. Looking real good. Here's the 10 right there. I'm not in IWM, but, just like many others, I'm going to be selling. I have been selling puts for the week because I learned my lesson in 2017, man. Do not fight the Fed, man. You don't have enough capital to do that. Okay? You don't have enough capital. And I probably lost out on, $250,000 in 2017 just, fighting against the Fed, man. I'll never forgive myself for that. That's why I don't like going back to the chart too far back, because it's just like, where were you at, bro? I mean, the government was giving it away. I mean, you look at some of these stocks, 2017, it was free money. It was free money. But hey, can't live in the past. Fade highs and lows. Okay. That's what's up, man. Okay, so you're basically, you're just holding for just basically a few moments. Just kind of fading those highs. I got you, what you're saying. Okay. Hey, if it works for you, man. If it works for you. Yeah. I was reading a book. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was talking about how every trader has their own strategy, and can you imagine if Warren Buffett was a day trader and how horrible he would be? And I'm like, wow, I didn't think of that. But Warren Buffett would probably be a horrible day trader. If you gave Warren Buffett like 10 grand and you told him like to double it or even to make $1,000 on the day, he'd probably, lose it all or lose a big chunk of it. And just having that mentality just gives you respect for other people's ways of trading as long as it's profitable for them. If it works for your account and at the end of the year, it averages up, or not averages up, it comes up to where what you were doing and pursuing was a profitable venture, then you keep going. Yeah. I mean, some people just don't have the time for that. They don't have the time for that. That's why one of the things I also push on the side is black box. And black box too. I mean, you got to have the time for that. This is an intraday option signal algorithm based system. And you gotta have the time to read the flow and jump in with the flow. And if you don't have the time for that, then you're gonna miss out on the intraday moves. Obviously, there are some ways to play it long distance too, or on the longer time frame rather. All right. So let me see what else is moving here. And by the way, another one of those REITs was XAN. I didn't mention that, but XAN is another one of those REITs that is unfortunately really tight on cash and has a huge obligation that they're probably not going to be able to make. But XAN now at 343. Again, this was another one that was below $1. So, it's already up well over 200% off the lows. Yep, right. Yep, over 300%. Excuse me, over 300% off the lows. XAN, and this one too is just like, wow, it got up to 474 today. So will the mortgage industry get a bailout? That's the talk of the small cap world. What's this AGS? Industry conglomerate. I don't know what this is. It was up decent return today. ICD, Independence, Contract and Drilling. Man, if this is an oil servicer, I wouldn't touch any oil service industry stocks just yet. Because at the end of the day, I mean, demand is down. So all of these service companies, I know there used to be one, some of you guys in here might remember, where it was a publicly traded company where they owned the helicopters that were taking guys from shore to the rigs out in the ocean. There's a proper word for it, but I'm not remembering right now. But it was taking them out there, and there was a separate company that was doing that. I don't even know if they're still trading or not. CLNY. Here's that Colony Capital again. Hold on, CLNY. Do I have? I think I have another ticker. Is that a different ticker? CLNC. Oh, it's a different company. Okay. Colony Real Estate. CLNC. CLNY. I'm going to have to see if this is the same company. I don't remember seeing that in the news. Any affiliation with another publicly traded company, but we'll look into that too. Yeah. Wayfair, man, I've been talking about Wayfair for at least 2 years. At least 2 years I was talking about Wayfair. Again, on my website, tradingthemarkets.com, I made an article on Wayfair, and I called Wayfair the $14 billion scam. In fact, I think that's the title of the article. I call it the $14 billion scam. And, now you're looking at a market cap that's 50% of that. And this was when Wayfair was at $1.35, because I remember that's when I took my position. Yeah. All of these, yeah, that's been running. It's unfortunate to see these zombie companies running. Wayfair, Square, all these little zombie companies. Beyond Meat. I think Beyond Meat. I saw Beyond Meat move up from the 50s. I'm just like, are you serious? Yeah, here's Beyond Meat at $72. Insane. Absolutely insanity. This is a company that there's basically no way that it will get to profitability, in terms of expectation and what they can deliver at the rate of spending they're doing. I'd like somebody to tell me how Beyond Meat would be profitable. BYND. Absolute insanity. And Beyond Meat, that's another one I've been kind of at war with. And I made a video called BYND will never see 200 again. And it never will. Unless they reverse split right now. But that's another company that will I believe their earnings is April 28th. I have it written down somewhere. That'll be another earnings report and the last 3 of them have been exactly like this, where it'll dump. Where it'll dump. Somebody said, what did I think about FAZ? Is FAZ the financial ETF? Yes, it is. FAZ was really good going into the year, but and it was really good back. Yeah. When did it really rally hard? I think it was back. Yeah, because FAZ has been one of the. It was actually one of the first leverage 3x leveraged ETFs. Oh God. Is it still 3x? It is. Wow. Okay. Nah, man. I'm not a big fan of financials right now. Uh, we've talked about how at 0% they basically make no money. At 0%, it's very, very difficult for a bank to make money at 0% because your prime borrowers, you can't charge them practically anything for your prime, your 780 credit or higher people. You barely can't change. You can't charge them anything because they're already shoppers, right? These people are shopping heavy, so you can't really make money on them. And then where you make your biggest margins are on the shitty customers, and at 0%, you can charge. You can be aggressive, but at the same time, they're going to shop too. So how aggressive can you be? And now that actually hurts for someone who is credit challenged, because now at 0%, the bank has to be even more selective with who they lend to, because again, they're not making any money on the prime borrower, right? So now this guy who's coming in with 660 credit, 670, 640, and he wants, 20 grand, 25,000, 50,000, $250,000 for a home. He's going to get beaten to death for documents and documentation this and documentation that, because the bank has to make sure he's going to pay it back. Right? You've got loans, you've got costs involved that are in servicing of that loan. Right? So you're already not making money on the loan itself. Your costs for servicing aren't necessarily going down. It's a very stressful environment for financial institutions to make money in. Yeah. What's going on, Mr. JRH? Yeah, BYND is volatile as hell. Me shitting on the company doesn't prevent it from going to 140, because it could do that. It can do that. You pull up BYND again and see. And by the way, what is it? KLE. Somebody give me that ETF for the regional banks. I want to say it's KLE, right? Or K something. I want to see where that's at right now, the regional banks. I know that's got to be killed. Somebody give me the ETF for that. I appreciate it. But yeah, BYND, yeah, that doesn't mean it can't come back up to 100. Yeah, we thought it was dead for a long time too. All right, and like, oh, this thing is dead. Boop. Then that sucker went from 75 to 135 off of, McDonald's thinking about doing some test on it. KRE. There we go. Thank you. KRE. Yeah, this is a sucker too that was an amazing iron condor for a long time. But yeah, I figured KRE would have been killed by now. I'm actually surprised. I thought it'd be a lot lower than this. But yeah, KRE would be better than your FAS. I know the FAS though, you're interested in it because it's got that spark with it, that leveraged capability. But KRE, these are your banks that have their feet to the floor in terms of these small businesses. And with all the capital that's going now into small businesses, as you can see now, this is off the floor and running. You know, almost $10 off the lows. What's going on, Felix? Felix Sapini, long time watcher. Yeah, it's a lot of good things. A lot of good things coming out on the market, man. It's a good time to be in the market right now. But unfortunately, a lot of people have, bad taste in their mouth after what's happened, right? And as I mentioned in my last video, or second to last video, if you don't need to be in the market, just sit on the sidelines. We're gonna get past this. Waste management. Waste management is another one that I'm very interested in. This is now, got my buy signal. My buy signal is 2 consecutive closes above or below the 10 moving average in the daily chart. That's worked out for me. And waste management now above my buy signal. And, look, at the end of the day, people are always going to need their garbage picked up, or cities and counties are always going to need their garbage picked up, rather. And waste management contracts with them to make that happen. What got them low was the fact that, obviously retail plays a big part in tax income of your local municipality. All right. Now, if that income dries up, then you're going to have to see cuts in some facilities like trash collection, right? Some cities decide to do it on their own. They start looking at, competitors, smaller competitors. And right now, Waste Management just has very, very generous contracts. And that's why Waste Management was one of the best stocks over the last 10 years. Here's Waste Management. One of the best stocks over the last 10 years. I think it was actually one of the best, if it not I want to say was it Nvidia or Netflix? I think Netflix or something like that significantly outperformed over the last 10 years. Yeah, I think it was Netflix, which has been a monster recently too. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix I think is the number one stock over the decade. Yeah, it's been Netflix. It literally went from under 20 to 370. Almost, yeah, got over 400. Oh, so many people were so ready to short Netflix. Just a year ago, people were saying if they were done. Is Netflix done? Is Netflix, losing subscribers? Obviously, they still have a lot to prove, and this earnings cycle is going to be really interesting. I think you're going to see a huge boost. This is going to be a great earnings cycle for Netflix. I wouldn't be surprised if this coming earnings report, Netflix shows an additional 5 million. I wouldn't be surprised. I think this is going to be a huge report for Netflix. Which low price stocks to buy and hold for market rebound profits? P City, man. We've been talking about that. We've been talking about that. Actually using KRE to hedge on ES positions. Okay, the entire KE fund basically went all in on SPY 30-year notes due to market risk. Hilarious. Yeah. What's going on, Cashmatic? Said Disney as well. Yeah, I could see a big earnings announcement for Disney as well. Now, the part about Disney, though, is that they closed the parks. And 40% of their revenue is still the parks. So how is that going to work out? See, that's the problem with Disney. They may show decent returns on the streaming side, but, barely any of their money. Well, this is actually going to be the first report showing how much percentage of the revenue is actually going to be from the streaming side. So we'll see. Cashmatic, you said that 10 and 25 SMA is golden. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys, man. I've tried it all. You name the guru, I followed them. I lost thousands, over 40K trading, finding this, trying this strategy, day trading this, doing this. I just like, man, what the fuck? Dude, I remember going into stocks. It's going up. I'm going in and it starts going down. I short it and then starts going up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I felt like the market was like, oh, Sal's in this play, so we're going to go in the other direction. That's how it felt when you're jumping from guru to guru, trying to figure out how it works. And then, I read this book about, 100 best moving averages or some crap like that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this for a month. I'm going to do this for a month. I'm going to follow these moving averages. First, it was just like 50, 100, but then I felt like it was just like really slow. And it would just take days for trades to develop. And I just kind of worked it back. And then I found 1025. And then I just mixed it up that the stock would have to close at least twice, either above or below. At first it was the 25 moving average, but now I came a little close. I got a little more risky inside the 10. But the 25 is even more accurate than 10. But yeah, man, I just gave it up to the system. It's like, you know what? You may read, 5 trading books a month or whatever I go through. You may do all this research, but you are not smart enough to, predict where the market is going. You need something else that can kind of gauge that for you. So I left it to the moving averages, and I have not been let down. Of course, I still get faked out. I mean, my trades still get faked out, but I've turned completely around my trading since using moving averages. 100%. Yep. Well, that's my course. I mean, my course, NoDirectionTrading.com. We're taking trades on E-mini futures, but again, using the same strategy, right? But now it's more non-directional plays. So, for example, in E-mini right now, we are selling puts on SB, not SPY, but ES, E-mini options. Yeah. At first it was, just to be able to benefit from the leverage that you get, you get on the E-mini side. It can be dangerous though. That's why I say, guys, just, if you don't want to go in the futures side, stick with stocks and just, take margin off your account, so to just get yourself a nice little cash account and do what you got to do. For those guys who are into stock, Or options too. You can trade options in a cash account. But it's really good to just, not have to deal with that PDT rule bullshit. He said inside information is a big thing right now. Oh man, of course. You got tons of guys who are breaking the rules on insider trading right now. Absolutely. Man, you got people who are desperate to make money right now. Them insider trading rules are out the door. Out the door. Yeah, we don't get that information. You don't get that information. Now, people talk about dark pools, and look, I have black box. I see the dark pool trades because you can see dark pool trades in there, and it does piss you off sometimes. You'll see a trade at like 8:30. 9 o'clock, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how is this guy just buying? Who are these people who are buying and selling when the market is freaking closed? And these are not ES mini trades, right? These are not few. These are stock. These are people giving each other, buying and selling at prices that you don't have access to. And it's completely unfair, but you don't know why. Yeah, it's called dark pool trading. Look into it. It's some evil shit. It should be illegal. But there's a loophole for everything, man. These people have loopholes for everything. Yeah, that politician. Yeah, yeah. Bro. That's all they do. Politicians are in bed with the corporations. They get the inside tips from the companies. These companies are not just, because they can't give them money, right? The company can't just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna write you a check for, in terms of money going outside their campaign, right? So I'm of the opinion that whatever money that they can't give to their campaign to help them get reelected, they're actually giving them inside information on stock purchases. Because that's the only way you can put money actually in a politician's back pocket and have him use it for whatever he wants. He or she wants. Oh yeah, yeah, I heard about that. Yep, that's what we are just talking about. They unloaded their shares, and then they went and turned around and bought shares like Zoom and stuff like that. If you read closer into it, they knew exactly what was going to happen because they got those congressional briefings that give them information on what's going to be the next step that the government is going to pursue. So now, if you have a 7-day week, 1 month, 3-week notice that a possible shutdown is going to be in effect, then yeah, I mean, you sell your shares, you walk away with tons of profit, or everybody else loses their ass. Yeah, no volume at all in BRX. I really wanted to get the gauge on what people have for small cap views in terms of YouTube world, and damn, I was actually surprised. I'm thinking, okay, let me just throw this out there and see what guys think. And people love that video. So I'm gonna be doing a lot more small cap stuff because I've been kind of bored in terms of like the general market. The small cap is kind of exciting again. Because we're seeing all this money move into these $5 or lower stocks now that you have some big name companies in the mix. But, look, if this was 2012, 2014, you would have had another 20 or 30 companies on the OTC side running a business during this situation. You would have had companies that are selling masks. You would have companies that popped up selling, these things that clean your nose with. I mean, they would have had all kind of businesses just popped up to get into this space. So it just goes to show you how things have changed in the OTC world since. Because this would have been an incredibly lucrative environment for a very smart OTC millionaire who knew what he was doing. Could have tripled your money, in this environment. Yeah, see. Sealed Air Corporation. What are they doing? Making bubble wrap and plastic sealing. Oh, okay. That's what's up. Sealed Air Corporation. All right. Yeah, I'm sure business is booming for them. Postal Service is saying they're going bankrupt. Well, you remember the Postal Service, they, like so many companies or organizations prior to the creation of the internet, they were just a large, huge bureaucracy, right? I mean, particularly if you study African American history, the post office has been really one of the biggest employers for the group. In fact, it was a big thing in the 1950s and 60s. If you got a job at the post office, they knew you were set, right? Up until the late 70s, really, and still till today in certain places, certain groups. If you get a job at the post office, oh my God, you're set. great benefits. That's like a big thing. So, unfortunately, but again, technology is deflationary. You had the internet created, and e-commerce has basically put the post office on its back. Now you can, do stamps from home. You can, uh, you know, simplify things. You just don't need the post office like that, right? You don't need the post office like that. People aren't printing like that. People aren't shipping like that. You got a lot of products that are digital now. You got other ways, other competitors, right, that are eating and chopping at their heels. And it wasn't too long ago they made that basically suicide deal with Amazon, which forced them to, for the first time, have to deliver on Sundays. That was like a no thing, right? I mean, if you know anybody who worked at the post office, shout out to the dude who said your dad retired at the post office. Working on Sundays was a no. They did not work on Sundays, and they would never ever think about working on Sundays if you someone who been working for the post office. So to see the post office now deliver on Sundays, that's a real change. That's a real change, all right? And again, this is another failure of government, because companies like Amazon honestly shouldn't even exist, because what Amazon does is unprofitable. And we're going to learn the hard way eventually, because Amazon is an unprofitable business. But again, when you're allowed not to pay taxes, you got a great book. I mean, you can show, how, oh my God, look at all this revenue. We're making all this money. We're growing this big. But when states and cities have to make all these concessions for you, 20-year concessions, 15-year concessions, right? Lower your tax base just because you promised this and this and this. You're going to have very great balance sheets. You're going to have, a $2,000 stock, right? And in the process, you're going to destroy a reputable institution like the post office, which we should have. We should have a government, and so that organization should be saved, all right? But thanks to Amazon and e-commerce, and you have a government that's not of the people for the people. This is what happens. This is what happens. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, man, Amazon is a disaster waiting to happen. Amazon is a huge disaster waiting to happen. But no one likes to kind of talk like that right now, because everybody likes their same day delivery. Everybody loves their little 2-day delivery. Everybody loves, but eventually, you're gonna need to pay up. Okay, you're gonna need to pay up. It's only so long you can get away with that. It's like technology made a lot of everyday jobs obsolete. Yeah, it's going to continue to do that. That's the thing. Technology is deflationary, but again, we live in an inflationary based society. All right, inflationary based, not society, but inflationary based capital market system. Our system depends on assets increasing in value over time. All right, it requires that. If you buy a house today, you expect, right, because the system has taught you that, you buy a house in a great neighborhood, that in 20 or 30 years, that you're going to be able to sell that for a large profit. Our system depends on you being able to do that. Well, if technology is deflationary and it gets to where it's supposed to be, where we have now 3D printing, where we're going to be able to make your house in about 30 minutes, right? Or not 30 minutes, but your house in 10 days with a 3D printer, be a large 3D printer. We'll just park it right next to your house. We'll build the exact copy of your house over 30 days, right? What does that do to the value of your home over a period of time when it can be replaced in 30 days. Right? You can't, you can stimulate and print all you want, but at the end of the day, technology will eventually make practically everything that we do today not worth being done. It was not going to be worth doing, because technology will find a way to make it cheaper, simpler, and basically free. For example, most of the products and services you use today online are free. Nobody pays for email. Nobody. A lot of the things you do today are free. For a lot of the financial services, look at an app like Cash App. Do you know some of the stuff on Cash App? You used to have to go to a bank and stand in line for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You used to have to go at a certain time of the day because, you knew the line was going to be short. You know what I'm saying? People are sending money all over the world with that. Look at a company like PayPal. PayPal charges you a few cents to do things that, So, again, our country, again, requires asset prices go up over time. So we print money, right? We print money because, again, in what was that year? Was it 66 we got off the gold standard, or 67? Anyway, when we got off the gold standard, we made that trade. We said that we are going to hedge ourselves and be an inflationary-based market economy, right? Because we didn't actually, want to have to pay people back for the war in Vietnam. We just wanted to be able to print money. And eventually in the late 1970s, 80s, we figured it out. 71, thank you. Because the Vietnam War was just going out of control. So it was like, fuck it. We don't have this much gold to keep it going. Let's just start printing. And then in the 1970s and 80s, we just got really creative, right? In 78, we came up with the 401k. You said, hey, fuck it. We'll put everybody's retirement on Wall Street. Everybody's going to get rich. That's how it was supposed to work. And now it's falling apart. Yeah. Yeah, these boomers about to learn their lesson, man. They will not have a peaceful retirement. These people will not rest. They're going to be working. You're going to be 83 years old in the workplace. Keep playing. They're printing. Keep printing. But technology is it's just going to be right there. It's going to be right there. You keep printing, technology keeps making it simple. It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose. Do I think the market absolutely will go down? Absolutely. It's set up to go down again. We're setting it up to go down again with the bailouts. Again, this has been a recession / almost depression caused by coronavirus. Imagine now when we get into a real recession. Do you know how bad that's going to get? Because you got to remember, this is basically a demand side recession, right? This is a supply side. A supply side recession, right? There's no, basically everybody's at home, so there's no demand, right? Or is that? Oh, I got it backwards. I think this is demand side, right? This is demand side. So there's no demand for goods and services, so we're seeing the results. But now if we get into a real, depression, recession, which is based on just the fact that, we go through business cycles, it's going to be hell, man. It's going to be hell. We could honestly be here in another 3 years, 2 years. Nobody knows what the future looks like, but and all this money printing, and this is going to hurt. I mean, look at the price of gold. It's telling you we're going too far. I mean, look at the price of gold right now. It's insane. It's telling you we're doing too much. I said biotech sector and the money makers in the future. Here's the thing about, I don't know, man. I think bio it could be a loser. I think biotech could be a loser. Biotech only makes money in America. If you want to be honest, healthcare is only profitable in America. It's really it's not profitable anywhere else. Healthcare is not profitable anywhere else in the world besides the United States of America. So when people want to talk about bio stocks, the idea of just having a company that, is out to make this drug so you can eventually sell it to a Pfizer or a Merck, that's a really, that's an American thing, right? In other parts of the world, you have government doing that. You have government giving companies money, mostly in a nonprofit venture to create drugs to solve. For example, places like Cuba, right, or places like Israel or Russia. Companies partner with government, and they make progress on drugs, and then they go to government and they say, okay, yeah, we're making this progress. We need more money, and government says, okay, this, and they come up with the drugs, and then the drugs are released for very little money. All right. Only in America where it's like, hey, we're creating this drug. We can sell it for $900 and blah, blah, blah. So biotech is at risk to political changes. That's why a lot of those biotech stocks and healthcare stocks, when Bernie was looking like he could possibly win, that's why they were getting affected. Right? That's why they were getting affected. So when people talk about bio stocks, I think they are at huge risk over the next, 10 years, 20 years, because I honestly believe that we'll really end up in a situation where we will really push to the left. I mean, in a hardcore way. You're going to have somebody come out who's going to be Bernie Sanders 1,000x, because we're going to be in an environment where that kind of call to action is going to happen, because the inflation that's being pumped into the market today, it will show eventually. And it's going to push people to the edge, man. People are going to be like, how am I going to pay my rent? How can I afford to do this? I can't afford to do that. Fuck the government. Fuck this shit. Fuck. When people start getting to that level, it's going to happen, man. Yeah. People aren't there yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. You ask anybody over the age of 65 what like, they've never seen people who have hatred for government they like it is now. They've never seen anything like this. It looks like probably the 70s to them. Where there was a point where you had some of those anti-government groups where it looks like they wanted to take over the country, and they were putting bombs in post offices and shit like that. He said factories are slowly moving out of China. Maybe for now, I guess, but at the end of the day, our capitalistic system is going to eventually just chase whatever the next cheap country is. They're not coming back to America. I don't care what anybody says. They can, unless they're going to want to sell their goods for higher prices, they're not coming back to America. They're going to go to some African country or some South American country, because we don't want to actually have to do right by American citizens, which is pay people a fair wage, give them a respectable retirement, right? That's not based on the price of a stock. Right? We're not ready to do that. We're not ready to do that. So Africa is the next. Oh yeah, man. All these little poor African countries, Djibouti and all of the, Rwanda and all of them. Those are next. Those are definitely next, because the Chinese worker he's getting more expensive. He's still not there yet. For example, you still have almost 400 million Chinese people that make less than $9 a day. So you still have those pockets of China that are still, in that, developing category. But capital is so greedy for ROI, for beta, that, yeah, you're going to see some of these African countries start getting phone plants, which they are already, right? Getting phone plants, start getting call centers. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You have countries like India that artificially keep themselves cheap just to keep jobs coming in. Just to keep jobs coming in. And of course, we here in America, we're not doing anything to stop it. We've got situations here where, Indians are getting cheap, damn near free college. It actually is free college education, and then coming to America and making $150K over American citizens. And our government's doing nothing about it. That's a whole different conversation. Said no infrastructure in Africa. Capital builds the infrastructure, bro. Capital builds it. Who do you think built the infrastructure in China? It wasn't the Chinese. It was partnerships between capital and the Chinese government that built up the infrastructure. China was a poor country. It had nothing. You go back to China, look up China pictures of Shanghai, 1995. This country had nothing. This city had nothing. But they got into those 50-50 partnerships, which were a problem under Trump, because remember, one of the big things about the China deal was the fact that Chinese companies had to partner, or American companies had to partner with a Chinese person in order to do business in China. They've been always wanting to get rid of that. That was a big deal during the China deal talks. But capital will build it out. Labor is so cheap, you're going to build it out. You're going to build out because what it costs you to build out the infrastructure and then the plant and then whatever is produced, it's still going to end up being cheaper than producing in the United States. So where were I planning to move to after this? Well, my big thing was thinking about moving to, at first I thought it was the Dominican Republic, and I started doing my research, and I found that they're racist as hell. Then I thought about Kenya, and I found that the internet is horrible. So wherever I go, I need good internet, right? I mean, I own like 20 websites. For the most part, my first real job is affiliate marketing. I got websites that sell you everything from dick pills to insurance policies, stock, and not stock, but black box, and so I need a place where my internet is straight. And right now, that is Europe and Asia, and I'm not feeling none of those places. I'm not feeling none of those places. People are talking about Brazil and stuff like that, but I need to go I'm a brother, man. I need to go somewhere where I'm going to blend into the population and not stand out like, who's. So I like Ghana right now. I like some of those. We'll see what's happening in Africa in the next couple of years. We'll see what's happening in Africa in the next couple of years. But yeah, I need somewhere where I can blend into the population. If it's going to be somewhere I'm going to be there for a while, because I don't need any problems. You're in a foreign country. You need to. It needs to work. What's going on, M1 Gunner? Yeah, it is a win-win. It's a win-win for the most part. At the beginning, it's a win-win, right? At the beginning, it's a win-win. Yeah. At the beginning, it's a win-win, and it's a win-win for the elite of that whatever country that capital builds out. Definitely a win-win for them. Yeah, see, I got to be in the sun too, right? One other country I was looking at is Belize, but Belize too got crappy ass internet. A lot of those countries in the Caribbean too were looking good. Jamaica was nice for a second. I was thinking about, their internet actually in Jamaica isn't actually too bad. But then like the hurricanes and shit. But hey, you gotta give and take. So he said Moldova. See what a guy like me got any business doing in a place like Moldova, Romania. You know what I mean? You go over there, end up getting kidnapped by some right wing gang and some shit like that. I'm good, man. Yeah, Belize is nice. A lot of Americans in Belize. A lot of Americans in Belize. Living off that retirement. Do I think bank stock will rip next week, earnings week? Uh, why? Why would bank stocks rip? Why would bank stocks rip? I think bank stocks get compromised, man. Here's City. This is another one had been watching for a while here at the lows. Missed opportunity. Should have picked up some here, but um, mm, let's go to a daily chain frame. Uh, man, I feel like I know too much about the banks, because when you read their reports coming into the year, and they're talking about how you know lower federal interest rates are putting a strain on their business, and you got a company like Wells Fargo, which basically at the point they had gotten to the point where they were basically only making money on fees. That's how bad things had gotten for them. Uh, I don't know. I just feel like banking is so dirty. But I mean, yeah, take a risk, man. But that's why we're rewarded for taking risk. All right. That's why we're so rewarded for taking risk. People who do this make more money than doctors, lawyers, and many other people who require 10, 20 years of education to make a living. You got people who never set foot in a college and making more money than them. All right, because the risk reward is so generous in this field, and you're paid accordingly. Uh, 1 second, guys. This girl with huge boobs just hit me up. I forgot her. I forgot. Them girls who just you kind of forget about. I kind of forgot about her. She just hit me up. I'm gonna hit her up later. Do you think they will deploy the National Guard soon? Why would they do that? Do I expect unrest? Nah, man. Nah. I mean, nah. I don't think we're there, man. We're not. This isn't South Africa. If you look at what's going on in South Africa right now, I mean, they look like they're about to fall apart. But no, America is we're a very educated society. Although we put out movies and like, oh my God, this isn't New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Like we're very civil people in America. You know, uh, at the end of the day, we really don't want to shoot our neighbors. We don't really want to deal with anybody for the most part. So I don't see the National Guard coming out or anything like that. We're not that kind of society. I really hope we don't end up being that kind of society in this situation. And it doesn't call for that. Really, just it doesn't call for that. There's more than enough food out here. There's more than enough water out here. What's the cause for walking around with an M16 or whatever? You know what I mean? Said with the Bumble. What do you mean? Joe Biden will resign. Well, Joe Biden, first of all, Joe Biden is a horrible candidate to go against Trump. Trump is going to destroy Joe Biden. Joe Biden, again, he's someone who's put in a lot of work, but he's clearly not mentally all there. He's losing. You can tell he's someone who's losing some of his cognitive ability, and he does a good job of hiding it. But he slips up a lot where you can see his short-term memory is fading, uh, or he's getting his short-term and long-term memory it's his brain just not 100%. Because you'll see him use words from like the 1960s and 70s, and it's been a long time to get the word cassette player mixed up with DVD, or I don't know. Maybe it's just his age. Maybe just his age, but he's just there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those where he's messing up a little bit. You said Bumble, the dating app. Bumble, the dating app. I've never heard of that. What do I think about Disney, AMC, and other things? AMC. Yeah, AMC. It's so funny you asked me about AMC because I had someone also ask me about that. We got a couple AMC theaters here, and I was telling her I don't think they will ever reopen again. I don't know if we ever go back to this time where we just kind of sit in a dark room with 80 to 300 people and watch a movie like that. I don't know if we'll ever go back to that, guys. I really don't. I don't know if we'll go back to that like that. Now, drive-in movie theaters, I can see that, because the drive-in movie theaters have taken off. I don't know if you have one in your town, but those drive-up movie theaters where, I've never actually been with one. I think supposedly you connect it to your radio. Is that how you do it? Or I've never been to one. But yeah, guys, I don't know if movie theaters are going to come back like that, man. I don't know. I really don't think so. Yeah, Trump is going to destroy Biden. Trump is going to destroy Biden because Biden is going to do one thing that's going to destroy his presidency, which is he's going to end up picking Kamala Harris. And black folks, particularly black men, hate Kamala Harris because she's a cop. And he's going to lose. He's going to lose. He's going to lose anyway. I mean, he was going to lose anyway because he's not a inspirational figure. There were only two people who I think could have beat Trump, which are Bernie Sanders and the gay guy. What was his name? I forgot his name. But the gay guy could have beat Trump. The gay dude could have beat Trump. Yeah, Bernie Sanders and the gay guy. He could have beat Trump because he was very witty, very smart, very quick on his with his mind, and plus had the whole gay thing. That plays to a certain demographic. You said he'll pick Buttigieg? I don't know. I think he was going to pick Kamala, man. BNED. I'm surprised you'd actually Lennox John, are you looking at Barnes and Nobles as a play? A lot of people for years have been talking about Barnes and Nobles and basically how are they even holding up? Barnes and Nobles, that as a strategy just doesn't work. I mean, as a business, obviously they're still in business, but as you can see, haven't been doing very well, and the company is losing money. Yeah, but as a business, I feel like it just doesn't work. I think the best thing they ever did was bringing Starbucks in there. Yeah, the best thing they ever did was bringing Starbucks in there. You say he's highly intelligent, but he's a cupcake? Oh, come on, man. Nah, he's all right, man. He's all right. For example, look, for a while, I didn't even believe he was really gay. I didn't really believe he was gay because and we'll find out too as a generation, especially a lot of us millennials. We're gonna find out there were a lot of people who were just like fronting being gay because in certain doors, being gay is like, oh, you're cool. You're let me help you with this. Let me give you this. Let me give you that. And there are a lot of people who are fronting, yeah, I'm gay, or yeah, I'm bi. And yeah. What's going on, Pierre? So I still don't think he's really gay. I still don't think Buttigieg is really gay. I don't believe he's really gay. No, man, I think Joe Biden will get the nomination and be, but he's just gonna go and he's gonna lose. And it's gonna be a huge shock to the Democrats. What's going on, Mogzog? Or Magazog? Magazog's in love with some Trump, boy. Woo! It doesn't matter. Trump is gonna win, man. Trump is gonna win. I would be shocked if Trump doesn't win. He's done a good job, man. Trump, you can say what you want about the fact that he was a little slow with the action. I mean, that's even debatable. But at the end of the day, man, he's thrown out $1,200 for every American, $500 for every child. If you made less than $40,000, he's going to give you $8,600 for the next 4 months, right? If you're on unemployment, that is more than likely going to get extended. I'm almost willing to bet that gets extended for the rest of the year. I mean, what else can you? If you got a small business, you're going to get up to, I think it's up to $1 million or whatever. I don't even think there is a cap, with no personal guarantee, no credit check. You don't even have to have employees. I mean, what can you ask for? So I don't want to hear nothing about, and that's why I don't want to hear no black person talking about he's racist or anything. This man has thrown so much money to the hood in the last 30 days. And knowing how I know people in the hood, there's going to be so much money flowing in there over the next 4 to 5 months. Nobody's really, unless you were just, well overcapitalized, not overcapitalized, but poorly set up, or well over leveraged rather. Nobody should lose their homes. Nobody probably should lose their homes. You're going to have some people make stupid decisions like, go into deferment and then just not pay. Right? That's going to happen. But, Obama gave you a little bit of money and he watched 2 million people, 2 million black folks for sure, lose their homes. Right? And home ownership among the black community has not recovered since. So coming out of this, we're going to see a lot of things. In fact, I think they're going to end up lowering the credit score for FHA loans and VA loans. You're going to see that probably get lowered, particularly if the mortgage industry does go under. If the mortgage industry does go under, they'll end up doing something like that. So it's going to be a good time, man. I think Trump's second swing at things. If you're someone who doesn't have a lot of capital, you've been someone who's kind of been living on the edge of things, I think it's going to be very promising for you. I think it's going to be very, very promising economic environment for you to kind of go out there and, make some moves. People who are really smart, you can use this 4 months, go out there, learn a skill, get yourself a skilled trade, plumbing or, something that's going to be able to, you can use on your hands. You're going to be coming out of this. You come out of there with a great job. Maybe you were someone who was making $14.50 an hour before this. And you come out, now you got a skilled job. Obviously, you're not going to learn everything in 4 months. You'll probably still be in school, but you'll be coming out in a better position than you went in. And that's going to be thanks to what, Trump has been doing. He's giving you enough money. You'll be able to pay your bills, or at least downsize without necessarily ending up on the street. And, if you're smart, you'll be fine. Trump is redistributing wealth to the top. With the bailouts, yes. With the bailouts, yes. That's true. I can't deny that. I'm not for bailouts, but what I'm talking about are for what he's been doing for individuals. All right. That's right out of Bernie Sanders' playbooks. That's right out of Bernie Sanders' playbook. He'd do the same thing. Give everybody some money. You know what I mean? Let's get back to these stocks real quick, though. Coca-Cola is another one I've been watching. I got on my list Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, let's go back to the, why am I on the 3-day? Let's go back to the daily time frame. Coca-Cola is another one that, man, great business. Great, 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 great business. Amazing business. These are the companies. Yeah, Yum Brands, 18 times earned, great business. These are the companies, you tell your old man about. You know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're supposed to vote for your best interest. But I can almost assure you, Joe Biden is not in your best interest. AESE, and that's just again, I'm not partisan at all. If those of you guys who watch my show, I'm anti-Republican, anti-Democrat. I'm about who's going to work for me. Allied Sports Entertainment. What is this? One stock that I think I can't understand why it's this high is fucking Nike, man. Nike was a winning stock for me coming into this situation. Nike was an incredible stock to play, man. I loved it. I gave it to my listeners. I told you this is going to be the stock for you to short. It was Nike and CL. I forgot what CL was, the makeup company. Oh, no, not CL. EL, excuse me, EL, Estee Lauder. Yeah, Estee Lauder and Nike. And Estee Lauder is still this is going to end up going lower once they present those numbers. It's going to go even lower, but the illiquidity there was a bit of a frustrating thing to deal with. But Nike's another one. I can't believe Nike's at this high. Obviously, good company, but damn, 86. Like, I feel like Nike, But anyway, that's another one that's going to go into earnings, and it's going to be ugly. So we'll see. I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked and surprised at that. Um, for example, when you look at Under Armour, UA, right? Yep, UA. This is what I would think Nike would be looking like right now. But obviously Nike, it's got some of that ETF money that Under Armour doesn't have. So I think you've got some other hands in there that's keeping Nike afloat. Because Nike is definitely in a lot of ETFs and a lot of funds and things like that. So, but those earnings are going to be real ugly for Nike over the next couple earning cycles. So, pizza calls. Any thoughts? Papa John's Pizza. Well, it's so funny because they're suing. This has nothing to do with it, but they're suing Shaq because they're saying Shaq hasn't been living up to his side of the bargain. Um, but yeah, I like pizza. I like Domino's. I like anything where that can come out to you and give you the food sight unseen or just drop it on your door. I like those businesses are great. I think Papa John's, Domino's, those are set up to succeed in this kind of environment and in the future. I think they're set up to succeed. They're doing things with like the cars now where they'll have the automated things. You come out and pull your pizza out and all that, drones, and I think that's a great business. and it's showing in its recovery. Yeah, the mall stores will close down. I mean, they'll just shut down the mall stores if that's the big thing. But if you look at most Papa John restaurants, they're not eat-in restaurants for the most part. They don't even really have chairs. Some of them, right? So it's a business to really succeed in this kind of environment. So I wouldn't be surprised if earnings numbers are going to be very, very good for both of them. Yeah. If we're talking about a food business to be in, it's probably, in the delivery business for sure. For sure. You know. But I'd stay away from, the Grub Hubs and those kind of companies. Those are just middlemen, but obviously they've built out their own delivery system and it's going to work out for them. Your poor Papa John's. McDonald's is a winner. Yeah, McDonald's is working through some of the other companies for delivery now, right? Uber Eats, I think, was using McDonald's. You know, uh, now they've closed the inside. That's the thing. I don't know. McDonald's is, they closed the inside of their facilities, um, but they were on the right track. Remember, they got the digital boards and um, yeah, I mean, they were really on the right track of things. So, I think you got to stay along McDonald's and all of these kind of eateries. Besides, actually, the sit down restaurants, I'd be short the sit down restaurants. The Denny's of the world, right? DENN, right? Even though Denny's is actually bouncing off the lows. Look at this. Look at the weekly off Denny's. All right. Look at Denny's. I mean, at the end of the day, restaurants are still closed. So, Denny's, you made 100% on your money. Congrats to you from the lows. But the restaurant is still closed. It's going to have a horrible earnings cycle. You're probably not going to recover for the next several months ahead. So, but look, you could get 13, 14 back on that. Look, you've already made 100. You already gotten to 9. Said Roku. Man, you already know what I feel about Roku. I'm not touching that, but let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at Roku. Yeah, you're going to have to do your own research on that one. Below the 10 moving average is a no-go for me, but well, that's the weekly. Hold on. Most of stocks are below the 10 on the weekly. Oh, he's actually okay. Yeah, there we go. Back on the daily. So looking good. I mean, in the buy zone like many other companies off the lows right now. I'll tell you what though, Roku can move, man. Roku will move. I told you guys that story on how I lost, $7,800 on Roku. Betting against Roku going from it Skyped up to 35. What was that? This was Skyped up to 30. Here we go. Was that it right there? No, it was the 35. It was. What was that? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was that 18. Yeah, it was 18. Yeah, I think it was this one. Or yeah, February. No, because when I had met her, I can't remember. It was 20. I was pretty sure it was August of 2018. Yeah, it's this gap up here, and I was shorting it. That sucker fucking kept going up, bro. Ugh, that sucker kept going up. I lost $7,800, bro, in a matter of like 3 days. And it just got to a point where, man, it's like, dude, it's not coming back, man. It's not fucking coming back. And that's the most depressing thing ever, when you just know you lost. You just know you lost. So yeah, Roku. And then I tried an Iron Condor. Remember, I tried an Iron Condor a couple months ago on Roku, and it squeezed me out of it. I cut the trade, and it came back and it was a winning trade. I was like, yeah, that's my stock. That's the one play that just don't work for me. Peloton is stronger than ever. That's a great short. I'm looking to get back into Peloton once all this, falls apart. Peloton, yeah. Peloton was going to be that short for me, man. I made a video on that and anything. We killed Peloton in earnings. Killed Peloton in earnings, man. That was an incredible earnings call for me on Peloton. But yeah, man, you got a lot of money flowing back into it, and the basis is that, hey, everybody's home, everybody's gonna wanna, exercise and all that, whatever. It is a high risk short right now. Absolutely. I wouldn't short it at all right now. I wouldn't short it at all right now. I would not short Peloton at all right now. No, not at all. Again, being system oriented. I only want it if it's under the 10 moving average on a daily time frame, and it's got shitty books like Peloton has. That's when I want to get in. But as you can see, Peloton's looking very strong right now. There's a lot of buyers. Have at it. Have at it. No, the numbers weren't inflated. You're thinking about Luckin Coffee. Luckin Coffee was the one that just made a bunch of, they basically made a bunch of fake orders. They had came out and got it, the company came out and just was saying, look, we created a bunch of fake orders, and Luckin Coffee is basically going to go to zero. Said the elites love those fancy bikes. They don't even use it. But that's definitely for the, for the whole keto type of dude, You remember the whole Peloton commercials when they first came out? They were so corny. Like, yeah, I go so hard for my family. I ride this bike for $4,000. It was just so corny. And they switched it up. Said you're buying puts and Piton when things get back to normal. Yeah. At the end of the day, look, you're gonna you get yourself a nice list of these companies with negative PE ratios, and you just like, hey, look, what's going to work and what's not going to work, because credit is going to start getting tight, and you're going to have companies that just aren't going to be able to borrow like they used to borrow. All right, irregardless of 0% whatever. You're going to come out of this with, debt ratios that are going to be insane. Absolutely insane. The level of debt some of these companies are going to come out of this thing with. They're already tapping into the credit lines. You name the company, they're already tapped into their credit lines. You had companies like BA announced they're basically tapped out thanks to the bailout. It's, helped them out. Boeing, here's another one. Boeing, obviously not the cheapest options in the world. But Boeing should probably be a buy here. It's a nervous buy, but, knowing that the government said they got their back, they're probably going to end up owning Boeing. As bad as that situation is, they might end up actually owning Boeing. I'm surprised they don't just go ahead and do that like they did with GM. Yeah, look, and guys, you pull up whatever ticker and it's beat up and you're wondering, like, can it come back? There's just so many options for that. And, my suggestion to you is to stick with the companies that people love, that, if you had $1 million liquid to throw away, you would put, if not every dollar into it. Buy and stick with those kind of companies. Obviously, you're going to day trade whatever you're going to day trade, shitty companies, but something that's going to give you high beta, right? The real big return. The kind of return you're going to be proud of to tell people about years from now. those are going to be companies that were doing well before this, were profitable before this, have taken a huge hit for the time being, but are going to come out of this, position for success. And there are companies like that out there. You know, STM, boy, that's a mover too. AMD, I think AMD is going to be one of those companies for sure. Nvidia is going to be one of those companies. The Microsofts of the world are going to be one of those companies. The Carnival Cruise Lines are going to be, some of those companies. We talk about airlines, but a ticker like Spirit is going to be one of those companies. I think Spirit can easily end up getting back to $25-$30 a share. Spirit was doing fine. Now trading at 2 times earnings. I mean, this is a company. This is an airline that has it does have 2 international flights, which are to, I want to say Haiti. I think Haiti and I want to say Cuba, or no, excuse me, DR and Cuba, I believe, DR and Cuba. All right, but no other international exposure. No other international exposure for the most part. He said until all Americans have an N95 mask. And Colombia, okay, does Spirit go to Colombia too? Okay, I didn't know that. Spirit goes all the way to Colombia? But yeah. So you can get this low cost airline. I think they're gonna do well. Okay, that's what's up, Alex. I didn't know that they fly to Colombia. That's what's up. Spirit Airlines all the way to Colombia. That's probably got to be a really nice ticket right now. Miami to what's the capital of Colombia? I used to know the capital of all these countries. Bogota, I believe. But Miami to Bogota must be a really nice deal right now. I wouldn't touch oil and gas right now. Unless you're doing a short term, like 5 day, trade, 2 week trades or something like that. But these companies are going to be, they're going to be back to their old selves. I don't know if they'll go back to what they were trading at, but I think you're going to see a lot of consolidation in the oil and gas industry, particularly with some of these smaller ones that are just going to easily get eaten up by the Exxons of the world. All right, I can definitely see a lot of consolidation happening in the oil and gas. If there's any time for that to happen, and we get as close back to to a standard oil world, that's going to be right now. I mean, Exxon could come out today and just buy, go out and buy. Can they buy Marathon? Yeah, they can go out there and just buy Marathon. All the little fragments that was Standard Oil. Just go out there and buy all of those back up. And your excuse is, hey, we're trying to save jobs. And you're back. You're Standard Oil all over again. Does it help everybody else? Probably not. But, now you're a mega large monopoly that can, control prices and make a shitload of cash, and it works out. But I know I'm making it sound easy. I don't know, man, because if you read what people are saying about Zoom, it's not that great. Zoom's looking like it's kind of struggling here, my man. When you hear people talk about Zoom, it's not that great. They do say it's better than Skype for Business. All right? They do say it's better than Skype for Business. But Zoom is just kind of one of those stocks that people just decided, hey, this is the work from home stock. But up 50% on usage, right? They said actually they doubled. And excuse me, not 50%, 100%. They doubled in terms of usage. Below the 10 moving average right now, showing a little bit of resistance to the 125 area. We'll see what happens tomorrow if you get a follow through of it. Today was a very nice day for that. $6, up $6 today. That was a nice move for them. Pulled 125 in today off the low. Looking at 138 calls. The school's using it now for classes. Yeah, that's a good deal. I mean, if they're using it for their classes and stuff like that. I wish Blackboard was a publicly traded company. I don't think they're owned by anybody. But Blackboard is probably the preeminent online learning platform for most universities. ZM. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. That RSI just is right back above 50. So let's see if you get some follow through here. Yeah, the market's closed. Market closes at 4 o'clock, man. It's 5:15, 5:13. Oh yeah. Oh, Good Friday. Oh yeah, it's Good Friday too, isn't it? Fuck. Yeah, it's Good Friday. My bad. It's Good Friday tomorrow, right? Yeah, Good Friday. I completely forgot about that. And that's why that's another good thing in terms of playing trades into days like this, because you get an extra day, particularly as a premium seller. That's basically like free money. That's a free money day right there, if you're a premium seller. And I am selling. I've been selling GLD. I was selling GLD all through this. Well, actually, the last just 2 weeks, really. That's a good one too. I'm about to end the stream here in a bit, but that's that's another way to make money, and will be for. I'm telling you guys, gold is about to take off, man. I've been telling you guys that since June of 2019, right here somewhere. April, June, right there somewhere. You can go back to my Twitter. I've been preaching gold. Preaching gold. And, here's the monthly chart. Look how healthy this is, man. Look how healthy that looks. Look at that, man. Come on, that's not telling you something. I don't know what is. And I also got into Forex a little bit through Owanda. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that right. But I only do US dollar African countries, because all the African are shitty currencies. And South Africa is going to become a third world country. I'm saying it here now. You're going to see US dollar South Africa go from 118, which is what it is now. It actually was like, when I first got into it, was like a one. I told Bats, is Bats still in here? I don't know if Bats is still in here, but when I brought it up to Bats, it was 113. Now it's 1118. This is going to go to 1150. Watch, you'll see. Give it about 24 months. It's going to go to 1150. South Africa is a third world country, man, in the making. It's going right back to Bush. All right. Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, I told you the miners, JNUG, are going to be where you want to be, man. And I'm telling you, JNUG is going to be where you want to be. The miners have basically missed out on the run on gold. I mean, they were picking up steam going into the end of the year. I mean, they were starting to pick up steam, but this coronavirus situation, it really started to affect things. But things were going in the right direction. I mean, if you go from the high to low, from January to the end of the year, you went from 36 to 89 in 12 months from low to high. Again, of course, I could use this high from 105, but just work with me here. So I think JNUG is an easy trade for you. Options aren't that liquid. As I mentioned earlier in the show, I think they will get more liquid. All right, here's the 2-hour chart, looking very, very healthy. Basically every time frame looks good. I mean, the daily, we're kind of, we got hot today. I can't even zoom in because it's so beat up. But we got kind of hot today on the chart. But here's the 3-day chart. I mean, if it gets to 19, which I think is very, very possible. Look, man, eventually you can just don't say so much. Eventually the chart has to speak for itself. And, when you look at some of the things that are running lately, and then you think about what the gold miners, could generate on the bottom line with gold, going to 1,800, 1,900, 2,000, what does it look like? What does that do to the bottom line of a company like New Gold or many of these other publicly traded companies that make up JNUG? I think it's going to be a big move for them. All right, here's Nugget. Here's another one too. This is is another Nugget. Now, which one is the Nugget? Is the bigger ones, right? And then JNUG is the smaller ones. Yeah, here's the junior miners. And then yes, okay, I'm right. So Nugget is the more established players, and then JNUG is the more junior miners. Now the problem with Nugget is I know the ROI isn't as, if I remember correctly, isn't as generous. I mean, just per looking at the chart, you can tell it's not dollar for dollar. JNUG is where the returns are, because these companies are so small, and the effect of rising gold will have a larger effect on their bottom lines than NUGT. But yeah, spread it out, Adam. Spread it out. I like the idea. Spread it out. You don't have to go all in one. He said, if you have the money to buy and hold oil, it'll be life-changing in your opinion. Yeah, I mean, will demand get back to normal? I think so. But will we ever see crude at 60 again? Will we ever see $50 crude oil again? With the level of supply that's out there, I mean, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Remember, you can find articles just from last week where oil companies were saying we don't have anywhere else to put supply. We're actually running out of supply. We're running out of reservoirs to put the oil we've been generating. And the price of crude right now, that's the paper price. That's actually not the street price. They're actually been selling it at the street price below 10 for a while there. If you had one of those big fuel tankers and you pulled up to, an Exxon station or one of these small distributors, they were selling it to you for 50% off spot because there was just so much laying around. Read those articles. So I think your oil thing does make sense. But how long are we going to have to wait for that? I think it makes sense though. And the smart patient investor would be smart to do it. Here's why I was following oil too. There's for those guys who know my course, We loved oil at some of these iron condors up here, but then it fell off its ass. Look at that. But yeah, will we see $60 oil again? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that too. But I mean, I'm happy to see the frackers go out of business. I'm happy to see, the frackers go out of business. To have that be a business that hopefully never comes back, because that was incredibly dangerous to the environment. You got people getting cancer and all that kind of stuff, brain damage. You said 9 to 6 months? Okay. We'll see. Only time will tell, man. Only time will tell. Yeah, USO. I mean, USO options have always been kind of a dirt cheap thing, but now they're really cheap. I mean, you want some exposure to gas, get yourself some USO. You said we're one conflict away. Man, now that you put it that way, I mean, they'll figure out a conflict. You remember that was basically one of the gist of the Iraq, war on terror, right, against Saddam Hussein. Because remember, we were paying 99-cent gas before going into that war, and then what happened afterward. So, if you remember, that was Halliburton's team, right, in that White House. So I'm not surprised. Speaking of Halliburton, where are they at right now? Are they even still a publicly traded company? Halliburton. Okay, so I see they're still. What is this, Brazil? Did they go private? I don't even know if they Halliburton. HAL. Oh, okay, they still trade. Thank you. HAL. Thank you. Okay. All right, so they were losing money going into the year. Yeah, that's another 400% move from the lows. All right, but look at Halliburton trying to do his thing. The rejection of that 50 moving average, 50 RSI. But like every other oil company, I mean they're having trouble with it. We're having trouble with it, but yeah, Halliburton is another one to look at, though. Halliburton is another one to look at. Oxy Petroleum, yep. This is a good one. Again, when it comes to the petrollers, most of them were doing poorly going into this to begin with. For those of you guys who kind of are not into the space, there's a very big push now to divest from companies that cause a lot of CO2 damage to the earth. And, this generation, particularly millennial generation of fund managers, they've accepted the role that, look, we're not going to do business, or we're not going to invest our money in companies that hurt the environment. And, it's going to be tough for oil companies, to be those kind of legacy companies that they used to be. The future, I think, is going to be really, really hard for them. Regardless of the fact that, you still have, yes, a lot of these developing nations that need energy and going to produce, but I don't think it's going to be like what it used to be. I don't know if they're going to be like they used to be. No, I canceled Traders Library. I took it off. For those of you guys who don't remember, I had Traders Library, which is a website that I had over 1,700 ebooks. I was selling them for $1, $2. But, I'm barely getting any sales because guys don't want to read books. They want to watch videos. So, I'd get maybe 100, 200 sales a month. And it was keeping the website going for a while, but then Shopify wanted to raise prices and it just didn't work out to keep it going anymore. So you can now, instead of going to my website, DTradersLibrary.com, go to traders dash, or hyphen rather, hyphen, is it a hyphen? Whatever that line is, library.com. That's a guy from Russia, and I had gotten a lot of his stuff. But that's a guy from Russia who maintains a website that's similar. His is a little bit more stale looking, but it's got a lot of investing ebooks, and he gives you the ebooks for free. He's got a lot also trading videos. You have to buy the videos. He sells them from anywhere between $40 to $80 if you email him about it. But all the books are free. But you can go to a website like ePDF Tips, right? Or ePDF Tips. Let me get the right ePDF Tips. There you go, epdf.pub. And there are a lot of financial ebooks here for free. Here's the link right there. You go to that website, there are tons of, you can just put investing, trading, finance, whatever topic you're looking for, you can find a PDF from there. And, I read 5 investment books a month. I love this shit, man. I can read about this over and over and over again. I was just reading, because I was like, why are we spending and investing all of this money? And this is a book that I'm going to start here. John Maynard Keynes, because we live in the Keynesian, basically all those economists, they're all Keynesians. They all believe that we can just spend our money and spend. The government can just spend. So I just kind of wanted to get an idea of, like, why do they believe that? They think this man is God, like, to them. To people who run the Federal Reserve, this man is the equivalent of their Warren Buffett, their God. And when you read his stuff, and it's like some of the language is like old language. It can be kind of hard because this guy lived in like the early 1900s. So some of the words are just like, what the hell did he say? And he's just making a case for just spending. Just Trading for a Living audiobook. Yeah, shout out to Trading for a Living. That's a good book too. Audiobooks are the shit, man. Audiobooks are the shit. You get through a lot of books real fast in an audiobook. Sometimes I don't like when it's, when it's an abridged version. But because I feel like sometimes I don't like it when somebody else decides which topics to leave out. That's been kind of irritating. The Fed said they would do whatever it takes, man. We discussed that early in the show. The federal balance sheet is going to be 10 trillion, 20 trillion, whatever. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Matter of fact, what's going to be... Let me see here. US 10. Where's the 10-year yield at? 0.733. Okay, we bounced off. We bounced off the lows. That'll keep going lower though. We're eventually going to end up going to zero on the 10-year yield. We bounced off the lows, but that'll eventually go to zero because everybody's running the bonds. I don't really have a time I stream, man. I like to stream preferably 2 hours before the close. So 2 p.m. I like to stream, but I kind of come when I want. but I like to go into the close. It's way too emotional, 9 o'clock, 9:30. Guys get way too emotional to go in the morning. But toward the close, everybody's kind of relaxed. If you've made money, you're happy. If you lost money, you've accepted it. So it's pretty good to play. Oh, sorry about that, FK Ron. Yeah, man, I've been here for 2.5 hours. I'm about to take off in a minute, though. Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of profit taking here on the exchange. If we look at the SPY, we're starting to get some consolidation here at these levels. We didn't create a new high today, and that's something we've done. Let me see here. Did we do that? Hourly chart actually was right. Actually, let me go to 3 hour. Yeah, we didn't create a new high. And that basically had been something we had done every day for the last 3 days. And so that's pretty telling that we didn't close on the high. Excuse me, close with a candlestick. Just off the highs, rather. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I've been looking at Black Box, and there were a lot of puts into the close, man. There were a lot of puts into the close, but looking at after hours, but obviously that's an illiquid market. It looks like we're going to probably have another green day. Yeah, so look out for some penny stock videos to come up, because there's so many stocks that right now are penny stocks. And yeah, so all right, guys, I'm about to get up out of here. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Man, it's been a long day. Shout out to everybody who was in the chat room. Even though my picture could have been a lot better here. It was kind of faded out a little bit. But yeah, man, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. A lot more stocks to discuss. If you're not making money, is it your system? Are you being impatient? Maybe look into a moving average system, guys, because it is very, very rewarding if short-term intraday trading is not working out for you. All right. So you guys have a good weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. Do something you love, or do something you need to make yourself better, the right thing, whatever that is. Stay out of the public if you can, man. People are really out here getting sick and dying from this thing. This is crazy. I thought it was I didn't want to say it was a hoax, but for a long time I had been thinking about it as a hoax. And then I found out that my high school principal's wife had gotten to an ICU situation, got into the ICU because of this. Luckily, she was able to make it out. But she was basically on her deathbed, and she made a remarkable recovery. So that was the closest person that to me that had got this. I thought it was a damn lie. So I wish health on y'all and your families. Until then, trade well, man. I'm out of here. It's your boy Sal. Take care. Subscribe if you're a new person here. All right, then.